Man, a bunch of Star Wars stuff happened last week. If you didn't notice that, then you were probably not on the internet for an entire week. One of the things we saw was Star Wars Battlefront, or kind of saw. Chris and Rob, you guys were, this expression is kind of what I was...
Surly.
That's what happens when Rob goes all the way to Anaheim to check out Star Wars Battlefront.
What
and
else?
then you guys didn't really see much.
No.
We saw more than you guys did.
That's true. So what did we see? We saw this
You saw a trailer that was like rendered in engine.
It was so cool, right?
in engine.
So that was, that teased a bunch of stuff. But what we saw was like a 7 to 8 minute gameplay demo that was pre-recorded on a pre-alpha PS4.
Okay.
That was the thing. But it was actual gameplay. It was like on the Forest Moon of Endor, you're a rebel soldier. You're switching between the first and third person views, sort of making your way towards the center of the battle. Scripted in the way that like any Battlefield-y-esque game has to be scripted in a press scenario, because otherwise it's like we're stringing together all the...
Right?
This was not single player.
Oh, it wasn't?
So
It was imagined to be multiplayer, but you could
Okay.
almost consider it single player. And like,
Yeah.
if I were to be playing against computer AI, like maybe that's
But it was
what
a
they would
demo
be at.
of the multiplayer.
Right.
yeah, and they all had like all the characters had little like blue or red names over their heads too.
Did it
So
look-
I don't know if the bots would do that. There is a single player mode you can play. It's missions that are just like set within the multiplayer area, but
Cool. Like
it was meant. It was meant.
1942 in Vietnam style.
I guess I didn't really play Vietnam.
Like that's what's so
It was a
unfortunate. It's there's still so much speculation. Like
All right, I've got some questions then. We
Okay.
can like round this out.
Let's do
One,
this.
did the gameplay look anything like the in-engine stuff that they showed at the event?
no.
Like in terms of quality?
I mean, I
So-
will say like positive takeaways is that it looked awesome.
Did it look like this?
No.
It did not look like this.
It did not look this good. This
Okay.
is like the lighting is much more polished on this. Obviously the troop movements here, but from my perspective, yeah, it didn't look this good, but it did look good. Like
Yeah,
when
really good.
they did that pan down they did that pan down during the gameplay, and like the bark on the trees, the light on the trees, the ferns on the forest floor, the like needles on the forest floor, all of this was catching my eye and giving me a very strong Muir Woods vibe. That's a redwood park in the Bay Area. That's where they filmed these scenes. Like that's where they went to like take the images. It was eye-catching.
So
like, it definitely looked
totally.
good.
What did you see in the gameplay then? What was going on? What was happening?
So one thing was like you just saw the dome shield.
Yeah.
What we saw was not. I mean, I'm sure there's a shield that you can throw down for many people to use. But at one moment you're looking across and you see all your soldiers wearing their own individual shields.
They have personal, just like a bubble shield. Yeah.
Right. Another moment you look up and like the Ewok Force, they have like the walkways and bridges and stuff. So you look up and you see like a stormtrooper like sniper, and it was like a beam laser sniper, right?
Yeah.
Like that was pretty cool. He like takes out a couple guys in front of you. You keep walking. One of my favorite parts with like the whole forest seems so open. Like yes, there probably are a couple of like push paths and stuff like that, but you could just kind of segue off anywhere and like take cover behind any redwood tree and stuff
There were
like that.
a lot of trees, and
Yeah.
at one point, like 2 speeder bikes like zoomed by in a
Unless-
chase, which was cool.
But we were saying like, what the hell are these guys even doing? Like, are they like? You look and it looked like a raceway track around the whole map. So all these guys are doing are just booking it around in a circle. You can imagine like, are these guys?
Are you
doing
really
anything?
contributing to
Like,
combat here,
girl!
or are you just joyriding like jets in a battlefield match? You know,
Right.
I don't know. That sort of remained to be seen. There was no piloting of vehicles in the demo.
Okay.
The dude was on foot the whole time. They took down an AT-ST with like light arms fire. In the trailer, you see them take it down with a rocket, but this was
Right.
just like sustained like blaster fire. Took down.
You didn't
the
see
AT-ST.
any jetpacks.
I think there was one,
there?
but it looked more like a jump pack. Like
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
a jetpack in the sense that like
Thrust.
yeah, it's just a thruster pack kind of thing. So that was good.
So Rob, I was talking to you after you got in, and you said that the time when they took it was it an AT-AT or an ATST when they?
AT-AT, right?
But it was a straight up like quick time event.
Yeah, it was such a buzzkill. Like,
Really?
so you take out the ATST and then you see down the path and they do a cool zoom in with a scope and you see the foot, right? And then you look up and you're like, holy God, here it is. And
It's big.
the sound design was awesome. So this thing's just
Dice's sound design is
Yeah.
incredible.
it was so good. Like it's laying down like on your troops. So all you do is you cross the river and then there's this like uplink. And if you can imagine like this is where people are fighting for. Or
Yeah.
like either you're defending it as the stormtroopers or you're attacking it. So you go up to this uplink.
It looks like it's like, where do you check your email in the forest?
It was
Just like a little
computer
terminal?
kiosk
literally
that you like roll up
it's like
to.
half the size of this desk. You're like, all right, great, here it is. Like, why am I even going here?
Fuck
Why
this dude.
why
What
can't-
happens?
You go up and you hold square.
You activate it and then
Y-wings coming in, and you look up and you see Y-wings fly by over the treetops, and you're like, all right, cool. And then they even go as far as like, oh god, it's crazy up here. Y-wings under fire. We'll be back. Hang in there. And then now you're walking around. You're like, all right.
So does it fall down? Or?
Eventually, but what's so frustrating is like, so Y-wings are whatever the hell they're doing up there,
Yeah.
and you're walking around, and then you see these AT-AT, and you're walking underneath the belly of it, looking up. And it's sweet, and you think, why can't I pull a Luke Skywalker and shoot a grapple,
Yeah.
get up there and just mess it up, like just mess it
Yeah.
up, right?
because you're Joe Rebel, man. You can't do that stuff.
I guess not. And so
I-
then you
yeah.
walk away, and then finally, here we come.
Okay, right.
And then the Y-wings take it down, and you're like, cool.
So obviously the demo is scripted, but like I think that situation is Walker Assault is their like basically one of the only new modes they even mentioned.
Right.
And so a Walker going through the forest, like that's not going to be a fun driving experience, right? There was a Penny Arcade comic that's just like, yep, like you could get stuck between trees and is like beep, beep. So I think that in Walker Assault, it seems like it's sort of a tiered thing where like, okay, the rebels have to. The Empire has to force the rebels back enough so that they can have the Walker gain entrance. But then that's a new phase of the battle, and the Walker is like walking, and then this is all speculation, by the way, on my part. The Walker's like someone's in the turret blasting, and then like the stormtroopers are defending the uplinks, and then maybe something is happening in the atmospheric layer that delayed the Y-wings. Maybe that's the other team has some kind of input there.
Yeah.
But it seems just like a Team Fortress tug of war almost. Like
Right,
it's going to go this way, it's going to go that way.
Totally.
They're going to stop them before they get to this checkpoint kind of thing. But they did not offer any details about that.
But what is clear, and just to even like add on, is you do take out the AT-AT, and they didn't show this in the trailer, but then you open up a bunker door. So it's like maybe this is the last push, right?
Yep.
Get in there and drop the depth charges or whatever it is, and you get in, and then of course you see like a rebel soldier like get thrown around, and it's Darth Vader.
Oh, cool.
And he's walking around doing the.
And then it's like a Destiny-style boss fight where it's like 20 people all shooting Darth Vader, and it's just like whoa, 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 whoa.
Which is kind of how old Battlefront games were.
Right.
Like
Totally.
you get
The
that hero character come in, and it was like, oh, we got a friggin' Boba Fett running around over here or whatever, and they become a magnet because they were so strong.
So do you think they're going to do that where like one person, almost like the officer class or whatever, where like one person just gets to be like Boba Fett?
No, there's
or-
going to be some kind of spawn mechanic that obviously you're not going to have like 15 Boba Fetts running around against 15 Han Solos.
No, that'll be in the modded version, which will come out about a month later.
Yeah, they're going to do their hero character thing, and still there's a ton that remains to be seen about sort of how it's going about. But the whole takeaway from the press event was like, hey, you guys remember what Battlefront is? This is Battlefront.
Right, okay.
It's like this cool game set in the Star Wars universe, and it is and it looked good. And there was a lot of scenes that were like, this would be fun to do.
Look good,
Obviously, this
didn't
would be
look like
fun to
this.
do, ripping with the X-wing through a
Can
canyon.
you imagine that?
That would be dope. But like,
So then here's another like hero system, right? Is like you'd get to be the Millennium Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Are you excited for it, or were you a little bit disappointed by the demo? Or
It's felt like slightly a waste of time, but just because we didn't get to see as much as like I wanted. Like, and again, speculation. Like we're still pondering on what the hell this Walker battle is even about.
yeah,
it was real early. But
Yeah.
it also kind of made me think like, all right, I definitely had fun with Battlefront games back in the day, but like. The last like PC Battlefront game was out in like what 2005,
Yeah, it's a long time
2006.
ago.
It's been like a decade. You know how many games have
God,
been out?
that's
How many
crazy.
game design
Yeah.
systems have come out in terms of like what makes a shooter great? And DICE certainly has their finger on the pulse of a lot of that stuff. But I was thinking, because all right, in the demo they did this thing where you come over a ridge and there's like these just stormtroopers like they're walking down a stream bed like on a patrol.
Yeah.
Like no one's doing that in a multiplayer match. There's no one on patrol.
Yeah.
They're dummies, and you shoot them like they're dumb stormtroopers in the movie, right? So, but that's not going to be the case in a multiplayer match.
Yeah.
But in a game like Titanfall, where you have minions spawning, that makes the battles feel bigger.
Totally.
You can like shred your way through 10 stormtroopers and feel like a badass.
do you think they're going to do that?
I don't know. I think that would be cool if
That'd
they
be
did
great.
that. But
Really cool.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, how else do you fill out a battlefield unless you go down the massive action game route? And
I mean,
God, no one wants that again.
The player cap is 40, so
Yeah.
it's going to be 20 versus 20, and so depending on the map size, that can thin out or that can feel crowded. It all depends on how they do that, but it would be cool to see some minions.
That'd be rad.
I mean, well, you can do co-op, right? Just you and a buddy against the AI. So maybe that
so
is what
there
essentially
is
looks
AI
like.
in there too,
Which is good because so presumably, like, why else would they have done that?
Yeah,
Maybe.
just pack up a little bit more of them on the battlefield. I don't know.
Guess we'll have to wait and see. E3, I imagine, is when we'll see more of Star Wars Battlefront.
No doubt.
Rob and Chris, thank you very much for reporting.